King Solomon, remembered as one of history's most enigmatic rulers, was a man of unmatched wisdom, vast wealth, and complex character. His name is synonymous with insight and intellect, leading his kingdom into a golden age of prosperity and peace. Under his rule, Israel reached new heights, becoming known not only as a political power but as a center of culture and spirituality. Solomon's fame for his wisdom spread to distant lands, drawing admirers and dignitaries eager to witness the brilliance of his reign. Yet, beneath the grandeur lay a story woven with profound contradictions. Solomon's life was not only a testament to divine blessing but a journey that revealed his human vulnerabilities and moral challenges. In him, wisdom met temptation, power contended with indulgence, and ambition competed with the call for humility. As the son of King David, Solomon's rise was marked by a legacy of promise and potential, establishing him as a leader of strength and unity. His influence expanded Israel's reach, and his wealth became legendary, attracting leaders from faraway lands. But Solomon's story, like many of history's great tales, carried the seeds of profound change. King Solomon's life is a remarkable blend of divine blessing and human frailty, revealing how even the most gifted can succumb to universal vulnerabilities. His wisdom and wealth were unparalleled, and he enjoyed an extraordinary level of divine favor that ushered Israel into an era of peace and prosperity. From the beginning of his reign, Solomon's kingdom thrived. His wisdom and sound judgment elevated Israel to a golden age, one admired by nations far beyond its borders. Under his careful guidance, Israel grew in influence, his name became a symbol of enlightened rule, and his leadership embodied unity, strength, and prosperity. Yet Solomon's life story also serves as a cautionary tale, demonstrating the fine line between power and purpose, between a life of divine devotion and the pitfalls of unchecked ambition. Over time, Solomon's choices began to shift, as he formed alliances and adopted foreign customs that tested his dedication to his faith. Despite the wisdom that had set him apart, these influences gradually weakened his commitment to the spiritual path he had once cherished. His journey reminds us that even the greatest gifts can falter under the strain of personal desire and ambition. Solomon's life reveals how easily power can transform from a divine blessing to a burden. Solomon's journey to the throne of Israel began amid the complexities and shifting alliances within his father David's court. As a young man, Solomon observed firsthand the power struggles, rivalries, and political intrigue that permeated palace life, understanding early on the challenges and burdens of leadership. David's reign, though marked by military victories and a unified Israel, was not without internal challenges. As David aged, conflicts among his sons and advisors began to surface, each vying for influence over the kingdom's future. Among these contenders, Adonijah, one of David's elder sons, seized an opportunity to claim the throne as David's health declined. Without David's blessing, Adonijah gathered support from key allies and declared himself king, throwing the court into turmoil. This sudden power grab set the stage for a crisis, threatening to unravel the stability that David had worked so hard to establish. The kingdom stood on the brink of division as loyalties were tested, and Israel's future hung in the balance. In this critical moment, Solomon's mother, Bathsheba, along with the prophet Nathan, intervened decisively. Bathsheba approached David directly, reminding him of his promise to place Solomon on the throne. In a final act of authority, David reaffirmed Solomon as his rightful successor, publicly declaring him king. Solomon's rise to power marked a turning point for Israel, embodying not only family loyalty but also a sense of divine purpose, as he prepared to lead Israel toward a new era of promise and potential. The name Solomon carries a profound meaning and was chosen with careful intention by his father, King David. In Hebrew, Solomon translates to peace, a title that symbolized the hope for a stable and unified kingdom. David's reign had been one of battles and conquests, establishing Israel as a powerful nation but leaving a legacy of strife. David wanted a successor who would not only rule wisely but bring tranquility to a land that had long known turmoil. By choosing this name, David expressed a desire for a ruler who could embody unity and calm, building upon the strength he had established. The significance of Solomon's name was also tied to prophecies that predated his birth. Prophets had spoken of a king destined to bring peace and rest to Israel, ushering in a new era of harmony. David believed that Solomon was this promised figure, chosen to fulfill a divine purpose. However, the peaceful legacy his name represented was not easily secured. The palace was rife with tension, and his succession faced strong opposition. Rivalries among David's sons and power struggles within the court meant that Solomon's journey to the throne would require not only wisdom, but diplomacy, strategy, and courage. His rise was hard-won, and his reign would ultimately test whether he could live up to the ideals embodied in his name. In the final days of King David's life, his focus turned to ensuring a stable future for Israel. Though Solomon had been chosen as his successor, challenges and rivalries cast uncertainty on the kingdom's future. David understood that securing Solomon's rule was crucial to prevent chaos and division within Israel. Knowing the urgency, he acted decisively, taking measures to strengthen Solomon's claim and eliminate any doubts about his succession. Adonijah's recent attempt to claim the throne without David's approval highlighted the need for swift action. David summoned Solomon, along with his most trusted advisors, military leaders and the priests of Israel, to formally declare Solomon as his heir. In a powerful ceremony, David ordered that Solomon be anointed with sacred oil, a symbol of divine approval, and publicly proclaimed as king. This public display of David's endorsement left no room for doubt among the people and any potential challengers. Solomon was the rightful ruler, sanctioned by David and blessed by God. Through this final act, David provided Solomon with a foundation of legitimacy and respect, ensuring a smooth transition. As Solomon assumed the throne, he did so with the support of his father's legacy and the confidence of Israel's leaders, marking the start of a new chapter. With the kingdom united under him, Solomon now held the trust of the nation, poised to lead Israel into an era of strength and wisdom. At the beginning of Solomon's reign, he faced a series of significant challenges that tested his wisdom, resolve and commitment to his father's legacy. David's final instructions to Solomon were clear. He was to address unresolved conflicts and lingering grievances within the kingdom. This responsibility was critical for establishing a stable foundation for his rule, but it required careful judgment. Solomon would need to balance justice with diplomacy to strengthen the unity of Israel without alienating powerful figures. One of Solomon's earliest actions involved dealing with individuals whose influence had caused unrest during David's reign. Joab, a seasoned military commander, had been loyal to David but had also acted independently, creating friction within the kingdom. Recognizing that Joab's unchecked influence could pose a threat, Solomon made the difficult decision to remove him from power. This choice signaled Solomon's commitment to maintaining peace and order. Another challenge came in the form of Shimei, a man who had openly shown hostility toward David. Addressing these unresolved tensions, Solomon demonstrated his dedication to justice, as well as his willingness to make difficult decisions for the stability of the kingdom. By taking these actions early in his reign, Solomon set a tone of strength and fairness that helped solidify his authority and reassure his people. These choices underscored his vision for a united and prosperous Israel, grounded in the principles of justice and respect for his father's legacy. Early in his reign, Solomon was presented with a unique opportunity that would shape not only his life but also the future of Israel. One night, while he was engaged in prayer and reflection, God appeared to him in a dream, offering him a rare choice. He could ask for anything he desired: wealth, power, or a long life. All these were within his reach, gifts that could strengthen his rule and secure his personal legacy. Yet Solomon, understanding the immense responsibility of leading his people, chose to ask for wisdom. This request reflected Solomon's humility and his deep sense of duty to his people. Instead of seeking personal gains, he asked for an understanding heart, the discernment to lead Israel with fairness and justice. God was deeply pleased with Solomon's unselfish choice, granting him wisdom unlike any other ruler. In addition to his wisdom, God also promised Solomon wealth, honor, and the potential for a long, prosperous reign, a reward for his selfless request. The wisdom bestowed on Solomon enabled him to make fair and insightful decisions, establishing a stable and prosperous kingdom. His judgment and discernment soon became legendary, drawing admirers and dignitaries from distant lands. Solomon's choice marked him as a king driven by a sense of purpose and devotion, earning him both the respect of his people and the enduring favor of God. With divine wisdom bestowed upon him, Solomon's reign set a new standard for leadership in Israel's history. His insight and judgment allowed him to approach complex issues with exceptional fairness and clarity, establishing a kingdom marked by stability, peace, and unprecedented economic growth. Solomon's decisions reflected a deep understanding of justice and compassion, earning him a reputation as a wise and fair ruler. This renown soon extended beyond Israel's borders, drawing admiration from neighboring nations who looked to his example. Under Solomon's guidance, Israel experienced a period of prosperity and expansion. Trade routes flourished, connecting Israel to distant lands and bringing wealth from across the known world. Solomon forged alliances with powerful neighbors, promoting peace and ensuring mutual prosperity. He invested in ambitious projects to enhance the kingdom's infrastructure, overseeing the expansion of cities and building a network that would support a thriving, interconnected nation. The people of Israel enjoyed the benefits of this era, living in a time of abundance and security. This prosperity was evident within Solomon's court as well. His palace was a marvel of architecture, adorned with treasures that reflected his wealth and taste. Solomon's wisdom brought prosperity that solidified his legacy as a ruler whose choices transformed Israel into a respected and powerful nation. His era is celebrated as Israel's golden age, an enduring testament to the power of wise leadership. One of the most famous and defining examples of Solomon's wisdom is his judgment in the case of two women who came before him, each claiming to be the mother of the same infant. The two women, both distraught, pleaded passionately, each asserting her right as the child's true mother. The situation was delicate, with no evidence to prove either side's claim. Solomon recognized the complexity of the case and, understanding the limits of conventional justice, devised a unique strategy to reveal the truth. In a shocking command, Solomon ordered that the child be cut in two, so that each woman could receive half. Though brutal in appearance, Solomon's intention was to observe their reactions and uncover the genuine mother. As expected, one of the women reacted immediately, overcome by love and fear for her child's life. She begged Solomon to give the child to the other woman rather than see him harmed. Her selfless plea, full of compassion, revealed her as the true mother. Solomon immediately halted the order and returned the child to her, declaring her the rightful parent. This extraordinary judgment demonstrated Solomon's profound understanding of human nature and his ability to use wisdom to uncover hidden truths. The story of his ruling spread throughout Israel and beyond, establishing his reputation as a ruler of insight and justice. His ability to perceive people's deepest motives became a hallmark of his reign, reinforcing his legacy as a king whose wisdom transcended the intellect, reaching into the heart of human emotion. With wisdom and insight guiding his decisions, Solomon established a prosperous and stable kingdom that flourished under his leadership. His policies and strategic alliances allowed Israel to grow as a powerful force in the region, respected by neighboring nations. Solomon expanded trade routes, connecting with distant lands and bringing new wealth and resources into Israel. His approach to trade not only enriched the economy but also strengthened diplomatic ties, creating a network of allies that enhanced Israel's influence. Beyond diplomacy, Solomon invested heavily in Israel's infrastructure, recognizing that a strong foundation would support his vision for a unified nation. He directed the construction of roads, fortifications, and cities to accommodate Israel's growing population and improve connectivity. These projects enhanced security and instilled a sense of unity among his people. With Solomon's commitment to stability, his subjects enjoyed an era of peace, focusing on agriculture, craftsmanship, and commerce without the looming threat of war. Under Solomon's reign, Israel transformed into a powerful kingdom, known for its prosperity and stability. His vision laid the groundwork for a golden age, where his people experienced peace, abundance, and a thriving culture. His legacy as a ruler who prioritized the welfare and unity of his people would endure as one of the most celebrated periods in Israel's history. Throughout his reign, Solomon was known for his diplomatic skill, forming strategic alliances that elevated Israel's status and influence in the region. These alliances were essential not only for political stability but for securing long-term peace and prosperity. One of Solomon's most significant alliances was with Egypt, sealed by his marriage to the pharaoh's daughter. This union was more than a marriage. It represented a powerful bond between Israel and Egypt, symbolizing mutual respect and a shared commitment to peace. Through this alliance, Israel gained a prestigious connection with one of the world's most established empires. Solomon's diplomatic efforts extended to other neighboring kingdoms as well. His alliance with Tyre, led by King Hiram, was particularly beneficial. Hiram provided vital resources for Solomon's grand building projects, including the cedar wood and skilled craftsmen essential for constructing the Temple of Jerusalem. This partnership went beyond simple trade. It was a collaboration that strengthened both kingdoms economically and culturally. By establishing strong relationships with regional powers, Solomon ensured that Israel was both secure and prosperous. These alliances opened up trade routes, allowing wealth and goods to flow into Israel. Solomon's diplomatic achievements helped maintain peace, providing his people with the stability needed to focus on agriculture, trade, and cultural growth. His alliances left a legacy of prosperity that contributed to Israel's golden age and cemented his reputation as a wise and effective leader. As Solomon's wealth and influence grew, so did the splendor of his court and lifestyle. His palace was a marvel of luxury, filled with gold, silver, and precious stones that reflected the vast resources at his command. In the royal dining halls, golden vessels and utensils adorned the tables, while his throne was made of ivory and overlaid with gold, a symbol of his unmatched power. Solomon's riches were not limited to his palace. They extended throughout the kingdom in lavish projects that displayed Israel's prosperity. He commissioned expansive gardens, impressive buildings, and public works that transformed Jerusalem into a magnificent capital, admired by visitors from afar. However, this immense wealth raised ethical questions that began to unsettle some of his people. The cost of maintaining such a lavish lifestyle placed a growing burden on the population, as taxes and labor demands increased to fund the king's projects. Solomon's ambitious building plans required a significant workforce, and his citizens felt the strain of these demands. For some, his pursuit of luxury seemed at odds with the ideals of humility and justice that had once defined his rule. Solomon's wealth and the grandeur of his reign created a complex legacy, one admired for its beauty yet shadowed by concerns over its impact on his people. The splendor of his rule showcased Israel's power, yet it also introduced a moral dilemma. Could wisdom and wealth coexist without compromising fairness? As Solomon's wealth expanded, so did questions about the balance between his personal ambition and his responsibility to the people he served. One of Solomon's most remarkable achievements was the construction of the Temple of Jerusalem, a monumental project that became the spiritual and cultural heart of Israel. For years his father, King David, had dreamed of building a temple to house the Ark of the Covenant, creating a permanent place of worship and a dwelling place for God among his people. Although David had laid the groundwork, it was Solomon who brought this vision to life, dedicating immense resources and labor to create a structure worthy of God's presence. The temple's design was both grand and meticulous, crafted from the finest materials available. Cedar wood was imported from Lebanon, and gold, silver, and precious stones adorned the inner sanctum. Skilled artisans labored tirelessly to complete every detail, creating an awe-inspiring space that symbolized Israel's devotion. At the heart of the temple was the Holy of Holies, the most sacred chamber, where the Ark of the Covenant resided. This space was designed to inspire reverence, serving as a reminder of Israel's covenant with God. When the temple was completed, it became a unifying symbol of faith and identity, drawing people from across Israel to worship. For Solomon, the temple was more than a building. It represented his dedication to honoring God and fulfilling his father's dream. The Temple of Jerusalem stood as a lasting legacy of Solomon's reign, anchoring the spiritual life of the nation and shaping Israel's religious and cultural heritage for generations to come. The dedication of the Temple of Jerusalem was a momentous event in Solomon's reign and a deeply significant occasion in Israel's history. As the temple's construction was completed, Solomon called for a grand ceremony, inviting all the people of Israel, including priests, leaders, and dignitaries, to gather and witness the consecration of this sacred space. For the nation, this moment symbolized the fulfillment of God's promise and the establishment of a lasting home for worship. During the dedication, Solomon led the congregation in a series of prayers, offerings, and sacrifices, seeking God's blessing upon the temple and upon the people. He prayed that the temple would serve as a place of refuge, a sanctuary where people could come to seek forgiveness, guidance, and comfort in times of need. Acknowledging human imperfection, Solomon humbly asked that God would listen to the prayers offered in the temple with compassion and mercy. As the ceremony reached its pinnacle, a remarkable event occurred. The presence of God filled the temple in the form of a thick cloud, a visible sign of divine approval and blessing. This manifestation left the people in awe, reinforcing the temple's role as a sacred space set apart for worship and devotion. The dedication of the temple became a defining moment in Israel's spiritual journey, symbolizing the deep bond between the people and their faith. For Solomon, it was the realization of his father's cherished vision and a testament to his own commitment to honoring God. The temple would stand as a spiritual anchor for generations, reflecting the enduring legacy of Solomon's devotion. And so, the remarkable story of King Solomon comes to an end. A ruler whose wisdom and wealth remain legendary, yet who faced inner challenges and choices that tested his values. Solomon's journey reminds us that, no matter how blessed we may be, true wisdom lies in balancing power, ambition, and responsibility. If you enjoyed learning more about Solomon's life and want to explore other incredible stories, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Here we bring you detailed and thought-provoking content about historical figures who shaped the world. Don't forget to give this video a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and click the notification bell to stay updated on our next videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.